Well, now that that's all done, I just hope the power stays on. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom, and tonight we've gathered to discuss two major blockbuster films. Of course, one is the sequel to the other, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because there's a lot of people out there I kept hearing on, well, this one's better than this one, or this one does that better than that one. So I figured, why not? We'll just throw both of them out there, have a discussion about it, we'll hash it out amongst the group. All right, let's get intros from everybody first. Let's get hi there, hey there, ho there. Let's start with James.
Hey there, guys.
AJ.
Hi there.
Nightwing.
Hello.
William.
Hey now, how you doing, everybody?
BJ.
Hello, everyone. Avengers Assemble.
All right, Kevin.
Hello, everyone.
And, of
Wait,
course, Ryan.
Hello.
Okay, so Avengers and Avengers 2. And it kind of got weird because when they released Avengers overseas, they were released under the name Avengers Assemble, if I remember right. And don't know why they do that, but they do that. It's a marketing thing. But, I don't know. In your honest opinion, was one movie better than the other, actually, and which one do you think it was? Let's start with that. Let's go to James first.
I think as an all-round polished product, the first one would probably be a bit more of a movie. The second one feels a little bit rushed in some points, but however, I prefer the villain way more in the second one. So it's hard for me to pick a better one. I really can't. I like them both equally, really.
Okay. AJ?
For me, the first one worked well. Wasn't rushed. It was well plotted. The second one was a little bit rushed here and there. I liked Loki. He was brilliant in the first one, but I didn't really like Ultron because he seemed too human. His personality wasn't right. It was too human for my liking. Like when the Hulk smashed through at the end of the movie to get him out of the plane, he's like, "Oh, for God's sake, leave me alone!" And he gets thrown out. So.
Okay. BJ?
All right. So, Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. I would have to say, well, I like both of them. I really do. I have no hatred towards any of them. So, but there is a certain spark and feel to it, in my opinion, towards the first one. Because it's, I mean, the first one is all, again, like I said, it feels a specialness to it to me. Like, you get, this is, because that movie was like the main big event when it came out. Like, every single member of the Marvel, that had a Marvel movie during that time got together and joined forces to beat the bad guy, which was Loki, and the alien army that he had. So that, to me, it has a special vibe and feel to it when I saw it. The second one with Ultron and two new members of the Avengers, which is Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I think I would. I mean, I like that movie. I also like that movie. It does seem and feel like in some areas it doesn't really feel like it would. It doesn't feel like, in some areas it doesn't have like that feeling of, oh my God, this is the best movie in the world type of feeling, and it's just it just seems like those areas like have some slowness to it and everything. It got a bit better and pick up with the pace and everything towards the end, in my opinion. I I definitely loved the actor and actress that played Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I think they made most of the movie. Honestly, I think that with those two, I think their two parts made the movie a bit better. Like where the areas where it was slow and everything. James Spader's Ultron was freaking fantastic. I think he was better than Loki in the first movie. But I still like Loki. Loki's good. The thing that surprised me within the second one though was the romance that they had with Dr. Banner and Black Widow. I mean, I was like, what the?
Well, save some of that for later because we're going to talk about that. I'm going to bring that one up.
And I also like that at the very end of the movie where they show Captain America's team for Civil War. So that everything about the two films I like. No hate. Absolutely like.
Okay, William.
Okay, between the two movies, you got to remember. We all got to remember that when the first Avengers showed up, it followed right after the first Captain America and Thor. That's how come the Tesseract was used in the Avenger movie, which is one of the Infinity Stones. So that story was already been building up for quite a while. That's how come that story fits. That whole thing was great. Age of Ultron, yeah, you could say it was rushed a little bit after the success of the first movie, but it did gross over 200 million in the weekend. That was a big record breaker. But it's not a bad movie. But as we the fans realize, there are scenes that was cut out, and of course the origin of Ultron was not the way it was in the comics, and a lot of fans got a little ticked off of that. And the origin of the Vision, again, I mean, yes, he was created by Ultron in the comics, but it was a little different in the comics. That ticked people off also. Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch was used in the movie, but they are not mutants since Fox has the rights to that. So they had to gain their powers from the mind gem that was in Loki's staff. But the both movies in itself are good, but in my opinion, I have to say the first one was a little bit more better because of the story it flows greatly through there. I got nothing against Ultron in the second movie at all, but like AJ was saying earlier, he acted a little too humanly, and that's not the way he is in the comics. So that's why it went down a little bit to me. I'm not saying it sucked, just a little bit. It had a little nick down.
Okay, Nightwing.
I personally think that they were both great films for two separate reasons. The first one was better because of it was getting the thing, the Avengers rolling, together. And then the second one was better because, we got new members, we got some leaving, we got, some problem, with Ultron and everything. It was just, but I personally think the second one was a bit rushed. I do agree with that. And the fact that Ultron was beaten so quickly, how he was, I thought Ultron was much more powerful than that, and he would be beaten, he wouldn't be beaten as quickly. But another piece of trivia for you, the two people that played Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch have worked together before. They worked together in the Godzilla film. Strangely, instead of playing brother and sister, they played husband and wife, which is weird.
If I remember right, James Spader and Robert Downey Jr. did a movie of way back. I think it was Less Than Zero.
Yes.
Yeah, so it must have been weird for them two getting back together also.
Another weird.
Oh, got more? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Got more?
Another thing is that now that we've seen more of the Infinity Stones, it makes me think that the next few, movies will have something to do with the Infinity Stones. Without, like, I don't know if all of the Avengers have had like some sort of run-in with them besides being working.
I'm gonna have to interject that you gotta realize that the Tesseract is the space gem.
I get
remember, in the end of the movie, it went back to Asgard. So that means there's 2 gems that have not showed up. That is the time gem and the soul gem. The only one that could be on Earth is the soul gem in the Doctor Strange movie. And the time gem, it could either show up in the first part of Avengers 3 or maybe Guardians 2. But again, because of Guardians showing the power gem and the Nova Corps keeping it at the end, that could be the plot of the Guardians 2 that Thanos goes after that gem. So that's the way there's only 2 gems left. Only one could be on Earth, and that's the soul gem.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you had even more to add, Nightwing, or?
No, I was just going to say another thing is that the new team comprised, the new team at the end of the got into Civil War. I thought Quicksilver was going to be a part of that, but sadly, no.
Yep, spoilers, he croaks. Okay. Okay, next up, Ryan.
Going into both movies, I was very cautious, especially the first one, because really a movie like that hasn't really been done in the superhero genre. We've had X-Men, but that wasn't really about the team coming together. It was just about members being added to the team. This was the first one where we've had all these established movies building up to one big payoff. And I thought all of the Phase 1 movies went from decent to amazing movies. And I thought Avengers paid off brilliantly. Phase 2, a bit more of a mixed bag. It started off horribly with Iron Man 3. That movie was just terrible. And then it picked the pace up a bit. The rest of the movies pretty much outdid their Phase 1 counterparts. I thought Dark World was superior to the first 4 movie. And I don't think Winter Soldier is all the hype that it's made up to be, but I still thought it was a pretty good movie. Sadly, I don't think Avengers Age of Ultron lives up to everything that was built up with Phase 2. And the first Avengers starts off kind of slow. It has that sort of chase scene at the beginning. Then it sort of slows down, and it's about the team coming together, and they're going at each other's throats until Coulson's death. And then they come together. This one, it starts off heavy. They're all flying around, all working as a team, which is an amazing sight to see. And then there's some friction later on, especially between Steve and Tony. A lot of friction. Then they all go their own ways, and the new members come in. I think Loki is a stronger all-around villain than Ultron. Especially because Ultron feels like, all right, one hit and he's done pretty much. It would be cool if they could incorporate him in some way later on down the track through possibly Vision. Like there's that little bit inside of Vision, just that tiny bit that could potentially come forward later on, and that could tie into Vision's fate in Infinity War, because let's face it, he's got an Infinity Stone in his head, and Thanos is going to do whatever he can to get his hands on that. But yeah, I think the first one's just a better all-around movie. Second one had a few problems I just couldn't look past.
Okay, Kevin.
For the first movie, I was incredible hype for it. It has that, that special feeling, and that, DC has never done that before, because Marvel is always had it, and they came with the Avengers movie that was never done with, with Thor, Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow. It was just simply amazing to see that in one movie, coming together, building to that movie. I loved it. The second one, with the building to Avengers 2, I liked it, Iron Man 3, but of course there are some things that doesn't make fire freaking tower. I'm just gonna give it a clean slate right now. I'm not gonna curse. I have said that to Dr. Freedom, and I'm gonna cap to that. But yeah, in Iron Man, Iron Man 3, there are some weird things happening, like spoilers. If you want to skip, then you skip. That the Mandarin, played by Bill Kingsley, right?
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
It's not the Mandarin. He's playing an actor, and that was, the huge disappointment of the movie, I think, because everyone was thinking that, that the marketing were saying that's the Mandarin. Then the extremist guy, I don't know what's he called. The end fight with Tony,
Killian.
Yeah, Killian. Yeah, him. And then he said, "I am the Mandarin." It was cool with all the, marks, but Thor was the lowest of the, of the phase 2. Thor, I like the Thor movies, but Thor Dark World wasn't, it was decent to watch it. Captain America, Winter Soldier, awesome movie. My dad would love it, but then I have to explain the whole story so you can understand it. And then we got the Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved it because of the music and everything in it. And then we came to the payoff, Avengers: Age of Ultron. I have heard that my parents watched the Blacklist, so they knew James Spader, and I knew him through the commercials of Blacklist. And when I heard that he was playing Ultron, I was freaking psyched, because he can play a really bad villain, He can be bad. I liked it, the movie, just like the Avengers one, but there is one tiny thing. Yeah, there's a little bit washed there, because there was something. I don't know if you notice it, but Ultron was, first Mark 1, and then out of the blue he was Ultron Prime, and that doesn't make sense, because in the trailer we had a transform scene, that he was evolving, and we didn't saw that, that he became the massive robot of 8 inch tall, when the scene was with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, because all my three friends were looking at me like, okay, that's weird, They should have shown that he was evolving to the to Ultron Prime. That was the one thing that I didn't really like about the movie, There are some scenes that are not in the movie, but they are in the trailer. There's also, it's also a disappointment because of that. Because you show something in the trailer that is in the movie, and you don't show something that doesn't come in the movie or doesn't make the final cut. Yeah, there are some deleted scenes because there is an extended cut later released on the Blu-ray. I'm gonna get that, of course. And there's an alternative ending. I'm not gonna talk about the ending. I'm gonna cap you for that, guys, the audience. So, yeah, there are some things that are better in the first one and better in the second one. Of the humor, that are teaming up, and I like them both. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so far from what we know, Avengers has already grossed over 1.5 billion. Age of Ultron's already grossed over 1.3 billion and climbing. Talk about two major, superpower movies. Oh man, Joss Whedon, he must be taking a bath these days in a golden tub filled with virgin blood. I'm like, it's just amazing to me how successful these movies have been. Because back in the old days, you remember how superhero movies used to be. For any of you who've seen like the '70s Spider-Man series, or the '80s Hulk movies with Thor, and then they brought in Daredevil, and oh god, cheesy as hell. And now they're multi-billion-dollar blockbusters. It's just so hard to comprehend. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this one open as a jump ball. Whoever wants to hop on it first. Okay, what do you think about the so-called, and BJ talked about this briefly, the so-called romantic storyline that was being built up between the Hulk and Black Widow?
Oh, God. It's almost like Incredible Hulk doesn't happen, isn't it? They're trying to erase everything, including Betty Ross.
You got to remember that. Remember in the Avengers, he did say, "I was in New York City and I caused havoc up in Harlem." So that story does count.
Yeah, but it's very weird that Betty Ross is nowhere to be found.
I think I could answer. I think I could give you a little answer. Remember, they cannot make a Hulk movie because Universal own the rights to it. So probably that character is still over there.
Could be because the other Hulk movie suck as well.
Yeah.
I can explain that. As for, the Black Widow thing is not a bad thing. Like as she said in the movie, she can't have no kids. She's not gonna. And the Hulk thinks he cannot be. He can't be romantic because Banner thinks he cannot be romantic because he might Hulk out.
Yeah,
that's something he has to train himself to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We had about, was it 2 or 3 scenes where they had a kind of moment in the movie, and I was like, "You've already done this once in the movie. Can we get on with the superhero movie, please? I would go to a romantic movie if I wanted to watch this. I don't want to see this," and they just kept doing it.
In a different movie, I probably wouldn't have minded, but a movie that has this much going on, it feels like, okay, so if I was in charge of that would be the first thing that would go. Because everything else could kind of stay there, but that just sort of needs to be shoved aside. When I went to see this for the first time with my friends, one of my friends is a massive, massive shipper of Clint Barton and Natasha.
Romanoff.
And whenever Bruce and Nat are spending time together on screen, I would lean over to him and just say, "It's going to be okay." And he would completely just like shut up. Because I didn't feel the romantic side of it. Like I just thought it was just there for the hell of it. Like it's like, we need something interesting going on with these characters. I did like, though, how they, as much as that particular storyline failed, they acknowledged the fact, okay, so we're going to try and build the characters up that we can't do movies for. I'd love a Black Widow movie or something along those lines, but it's nice that they, did that. Like, they built up Hawkeye a lot more, which I thought was fantastic. But yeah, like, they kind of acknowledge the fact that, okay, so these characters probably won't get movies, so let's build them up here.
Okay, BJ, you wanted to add something?
No, I was just gonna say, Ryan here, that saying that he said that it's like they're not acknowledging the Edward Norton film of Hulk. And I was gonna add that in Civil War, General Thunderbolt Ross, Betty's father, is gonna be in Civil War, so it's gonna be. It is.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh,
I said that.
Yeah. Sorry,
I think it was when everyone was trying to talk. But yeah.
I was explaining why the Betty character might not show up again.
Yeah. But yeah, I knew Thunderbolt Ross was going to be in there.
To be honest, my personal opinion on the Hulk and Black Widow thing is that it wasn't needed.
I think that's general consensus, isn't it?
One for one, Natasha can't have kids, so I mean, I know she can have a relationship happily, but why put herself through the pain that she can't have kids, even if she is with the Hulk?
Interesting.
I mean, I know she's seen Clint have kids, and with the third one on the way. So why go through the pain of being in a relationship? I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was Captain America, because everybody's either that or Hawkeye, but why the Hulk? It's just a bit of a weird relationship.
She likes him big and green.
I think that was just a movie character development, and then because the rumor was running around that Hawkeye was gonna die, and that's why in the beginning of the movie when we saw him with a wife and kids, great, we're gonna see them and they're gonna bump him off. Luckily they didn't, but
I'm actually quite happy that Nick Fury was adapted into it a little bit. The fact that he set up so the family were safe and away from the from everything.
Yeah, that's good for him to do that. That's what like I said, I don't think anything other relationship would build from Banner and Natasha. I think they're just gonna stay good friends, and because if you notice, since the first movie. So she was the one that went to meet Banner in the cabin in the woods. I mean, down South America like that. They've been very good friends, and then they're the two that talk to them. They talk to each other the most. Yeah. You can say Banner and Stark talk scientific stuff, but when it comes to
that's more of a bromance. That's more of a bromance. Yeah,
because they're the two sciences. But like normal talking, that's almost like you say Natasha and Banner. That's because they're very good friends. And I don't think in this movie, it was used for the plot. But I bet you when you see the next Avengers movie and they both return, they're not gonna even talk about that because they're gonna be busy dealing with Thanos. And that's the way that next movie.
Another random question is, why is Captain America, Civil War, got all these characters in, all these heroes? I mean, I know I know the story of the Civil War, and in the Captain America, the comic book, but shouldn't it be classed as an Avengers or something else?
No, well, you got to remember that in the Civil War comic, the one who was against the registration was Captain America. That's why it was better to use.
Yeah, I know. I do know the story, but it was
Yeah, but you cannot make another movie and another Avengers movie and use that Civil War plot, because that means in reality that it would be a longer wait for the battle with Thanos. And remember that third movie, Avengers, is two parts. It's 2 parts. So.
And also they're kind of building up. It's like as Ryan said, it's the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It's all building up. And I fully agree, by the way, that Iron Man 3 is terrible.
And
hate that movie.
Good.
And has anybody liked and seen the after credit scenes, like especially with this one, like with the Avengers or Age of Ultron?
Yeah, we saw the one with the Thanos scenes, but remember like Kevin was saying earlier that there are scenes there's a lot of scenes deleted in the Age of Ultron, especially the scene when Captain America meets his new team, because there is a character there that was not used. I don't want to get into that. That's no.
Oh, Ant-Man.
No. It's a woman. There's another woman. No.
Captain Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Okay.
She was supposed to show up there, but since her movie is coming out later on,
They didn't put it in.
They didn't put it. They took it out. Whether they're gonna put that in the DVD, the Blu-ray, we wait to find out. We wait to find out.
The heroes that they have at the very, very end of the movie, where Captain America says Avengers, and he was about to say Assemble. That's his team for Civil War.
Well, he's gonna have to use some more powerhouses because they ain't that many good. I mean, the Vision is good, but he ain't Thor. He ain't Thor strong or Iron Man like that.
But yeah,
the Vision is a machine, so he can get destroyed.
Yeah, what I thought of the Black Widow, Hulk relationship, it was, it wasn't needed, but it was fun to see, in my opinion, But yeah, it's just strange because in this movie, it's an animated movie, Ultimate Avengers, the movie. Captain America and Black Widow are hooking up at the end of the movie.
Well, you got to realize that cartoon is based on the Ultimate comic line.
Yeah, Ultimate.
But that's a different universe and all that. So we can't get into that.
The best thing about that movie is on the second one with the gag reel.
Okay.
It has a brilliant. Anyone who has not seen the gag reel for Ultimate Avengers,
sorry, I just want to mention about.
All right.
So I was just going to mention about the Civil War Avengers. For one, I agree. The only muscle really is War Machine, and that's only a machine enhanced strength.
Yeah.
So really, I think
Android. So.
Yeah.
So to be honest, I agree that I think if Tony had his own Avengers thing, I think they would whoop Captain America's ones.
We don't know who's going to be in Tony's team if he has a team at all. Just him and his armors.
We actually do sort of know that Spider-Man will be on the the Cap's team, won't he?
He'd be in both teams because of but we jumping into a movie that won't come out the next year, so.
Well, he will have a team. Well, I read something about that. He will have a team.
Yeah, but where did you read this from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going a little bit off track.
Yeah. Remember, we're talking about a movie that won't come out the next year, so wait till that happens. We know who's going to be there. That's it.
Trailer end of this year, I hope.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I liked about within the Avengers. Rhodey's character, they kept the War Machine instead of like the Iron Patriot that they had in Iron Man 3. Because Iron Patriot was stupid. It's supposed to be War Machine. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. Don't worry. To me, Iron Man 3, I tried to just twist it in my mind that please, that didn't happen. It just didn't. It didn't make any sense.
War Machine rocks with the Z.
I mean, Iron Patriot's supposed to be, I think, according to the comics, Norman Osborn.
Yeah, you get into a storyline that don't bring that up because that's Sony's deal. So don't bring that up.
All right.
Don't bring that up. Don't be talking about the movie, not the comics.
Okay.
That's
because I could be talking about the animated series right now. I've been watching.
Again, and that's gonna screw up because the one that's currently aired is different than the one that came out before the Avengers Earth Mighty Heroes, because that cartoon followed a lot of the comic book stories, and this one is just jumbled up.
Fair enough.
So that's again two different things. We gotta remember now. Already 4 of the Infinity Stones.
Is that the series?
The 4 stones already showing up. One is now is in Asgard. That was the Tesseract. The second one was from the Thor, the Dark World, the Ether. It's the Collector has it. Whether he still has it after what happened in Guardians, we don't know. We have to wait to find out. And then the Power Gem, the Nova Corps has it. And the Mind Gem, the Vision has it. See, so that leaves 2. That means Thanos is going to come to Earth because he wants to grab that Mind Gem and the Soul Gem if it shows up.
That means trouble for basically anyone who has an Infinity Stone.
Okay.
And I gotta ask, with the with the Infinity Gauntlet, how many? Is there only one that Thanos wears, or just two?
You know,
He wears one.
the gauntlet is they call it the Infinity Gauntlet because he put the gems on it, so it became a gauntlet. But it's the gems that's more important. Forget the gauntlet; that's nothing. The one you saw in the first Thor movie, that was just there. It's the gems that's more important. He could put it on anything he wants, and it becomes an Infinity Gauntlet. That's the power is the gems. Those gems are the power.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if the gauntlet was like a pair and there's other gems.
No, there's only 6.
Okay. Jump ball again. Loki or Ultron?
Loki.
Loki.
Ultron.
Loki was a better Loki. I gotta say, Loki was a better character used in the movie because he was the villain in Avengers #1 when the team formed up. Even though it wasn't exactly the original 5, but it was a good story using Loki. Ultron, of course, he came out a couple of years later, and what different about Ultron is that he is not the Ultron from the comics. His origin was that he was an AI created by Hank Pym, and you don't even see Hank Pym to the Ant-Man movie, and he's not the main hero no more. It's the younger version of Ant-Man. So I thought for a moment maybe was that Hank Pym and Tony Stark's father was creating an AI, and Anthony Stark kept it going and created Ultron. That would have made it good, but just making it out of an AI from Tony Stark, that upset a lot of fans.
All right.
I think it's quite difficult to compare the two because you're comparing a guy who's had 3 movies to one which comes out of nowhere with 1 movie.
No, but the thing is, remember in the Ant-Man movie, Hank Pym is an older man. So doing that movie, and even in the Age of Ultron, they could have had him there as a cameo, just a flashback of him and Howard Stark trying to create an AI, and then years later he became Ultron. That would have made it more better.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have preferred it that way instead of having Tony and Bruce work on it through Jarvis.
Yeah, I know that makes no sense. That would make no sense.
To be honest, I prefer Loki, and I think it's just because the actor's British and he has that bit of random humor at the back.
I saw that commercial about the British actors.
Yeah.
I like I said, it's just really hard for me because I actually prefer Ultron because I'm a massive James Spader fan. He relates to me. Can someone tell me the actor who plays Loki?
How does he relate to you exactly?
Well, he's not related to me. We have the same first name. We have the same first name, but I think he's a great villain. The guy has played numerous roles over the year, most recently Blacklist, as Kevin mentioned earlier. He's really, really good, and when you hear him speak, he has presence on screen. You know he's there. Loki, on the other hand, yeah, he's a kind of good villain, but really to me, he's the whiny little boy who's not that scary compared to Ultron. If they both had the same amount of power, I'd say Ultron would kick his ass.
This is funny for me because when the trailer came out for Age of Ultron, I thought, wow, Ultron is going to be a friggin' amazing villain. He is going to be awesome.
But he was beaten so quickly. He was beaten so quickly.
I think he has a lot more problems going on with him than that. In the trailer, and I heard a lot of people saying, oh, I preferred the more human robot character he was, as opposed to just a mindless robot hell-bent on destruction. But if you listen to the performance that James Spader has in the trailers, he portrays so much emotion.
I have no strings.
And he is like, I was absolutely in love with Ultron in the trailers, which is probably why I'm so angry that he turned out the way he did. Cracking jokes. Oh, come on, guys. All of that. Come on, that's not Ultron. Like, I was really bothered by it, and it didn't sit well with me. that he was, cracking all these. Well, not really jokes. It's not that the dialogue was bad. I thought the dialogue was well written.
Well,
It was just that it was Ultron's dialogue. It was coming from Ultron that didn't really please me. It made me really upset. Hopefully they can do Ultron again, like I said before, which could tie into the Vision's fate. If Vision has the mind gem ripped from his head and he supposedly is killed, but then later on, like, I don't know, after credit scene, I thought about it. Because I heard someone say, oh, if the mind gem is taken from his head, could he revert back to Ultron? I first dismissed that, but then I started to think about it. What if the Ultron virus grew within the Vision's body and lay dormant because of the mind gem? But then once it was removed, the Ultron sort of wakes up, but it doesn't really have the personality that Ultron had. So maybe that could be a cool way to bring Ultron back for Phase 4.
You know who
I don't know. I just
reminded me
let
of?
me want it a bit more.
You know who Ultron reminded me of in this movie more than anything? And it's kind of freaky that it popped into my head when I was watching it. He reminded me of the frickin' boss from The Green Death. John Pertwee's story of Doctor Who. The way that computer acted, because it had a human mind overlaid on it. And it was doing all these nifty things, making all these noises. It was even humming. That's what Ultron reminded me of.
Yeah, it makes sense. But if you watch the cartoon of Avengers Earth Mighty Heroes and you watch the two-parter with Ultron, that's the way he's supposed to stand out. That voice, the way it is.
It was a lot more mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a computer.
The only problem is that in the comics, Ultron had an Oedipus complex because he was after the Wasp, which she hasn't appeared yet in the movies.
I'm not kidding. I was waiting for Ultron to look at somebody and go, Stevens. Oh, sorry. But for you folks who watch that, you know what I'm talking about.
Another problem was, of course, which could not be used thanks to Fox having the X-Men, is that Ultron in reality is made of adamantium, not vibranium.
I wanted to.
They couldn't use it, of course, thanks to Fox.
Yeah, there was that's weird. With being a Marvel movie, you'd think they wouldn't have any trouble, but
that's a weird thing because what's weird, the first appearance of adamantium was in the Avengers comic, not an X-Men comic. So that makes no sense. Some legal people need to talk. Just like Captain America's shield is not made of vibranium itself. It's vibranium and adamantium. That's the shield. Yeah. But they can mention it in the movie. I like, geez, couldn't even use that.
Yeah, that's why Ultron melted because of the vibranium.
Yeah, vibranium can melt, not adamantium.
Yeah.
In the trailers, he just had such a presence about him. So much emotion and so menacing, which is really jarring in the movie. Yeah. When he's cracking all these jokes and, the children line bothered me. Everything about Ultron really bothered me. Just every line that came out of his mouth was just like, can you just kill him now?
The reference, another problem I had was the reference to Pinocchio.
Yeah, you knew that.
I thought it was really creepy in the trailers.
They had a spoof on the people behind how it should have ended or something like that. I can't remember. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept reciting Disney lines, and it was quite funny.
Do you want to build a snowman? No, it's summer!
No, they got there was a quote that Ultron said in the trailer. I tried to find it. Yeah, there was a quote in the trailer that he said to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. He said, I have a vision. In the first trailer, he said, I have a vision. The whole world screaming for mercy. I haven't heard that in the movie. Also, that when he was, in the second trailer, he was on his throne, and then he was saying, the people see hope. I will take that from them first. If you really think about that, that wasn't in the movie. If I really think about that.
I know they've been doing that a lot lately with movies, where you'll see stuff in the trailers and it never pops up in the movie.
Yeah, and that's so disappointment about it.
Amazing.
And
Spider-Man 2.
spoilers. And spoilers. You freaking Terminator genocide.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. All right, now the only other topic I can think of is, oh heck, it just seemed to me like there were certain characters that got left behind in the second movie. Any opinions on that? What characters do you think didn't get like any development in the second movie? Because I noticed a couple really.
The one that sticks out to me is Thor.
Yeah.
He didn't develop that much. Iron Man wasn't really developed. Only the buddy with Banner, and of course dealing with Ultron. But other than that, did you hardly any development with him? And of course, because he was only in it for a few, not that long, many minutes. Nick Fury himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
and these actors are not getting paid cheap either to use them that little.
And I think Quicksilver, that was so disappointing to me, especially because it holds absolutely no weight at all. Like, literally, about 10 seconds after that, Hulk rips Ultron from a plane and he comes out with a joke. Like, he cracks a freaking joke. Like, it holds no weight in the story other than, okay, so Scarlet Witch destroys Ultron Prime's body. She could have done that just off her own bat,
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta remember, it took the death of her brother for her to unleash all that power that she has. When she came out of the Hydra base, she wasn't at total control of her powers yet.
Yeah, and when
I think
sorry. I was going to say something about Thor, but don't matter.
The thing I don't, the death in the Coulson's death in the first movie had so much weight to it. I wasn't the biggest Coulson fan, yet I still felt the shock and, the heartache of the death. Here, I don't feel that. I just kind of feel like, that the movie should be doing more for me to give a crap. Because I didn't. He had, 7 lines of dialogue through the whole movie, half of which is, you didn't see that coming? That's it. Is that what I'm supposed to go off?
I get the feeling that since Fox has the mutant rights to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, I think there was Marvel answer, and they were willing to kill off Quicksilver because the one they wanted to keep was the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. It also comes into the issue that a bunch of people who are making the action figures have been told not to make X-Men action figures because Marvel were trying to hurt Fox in that way, and they're trying to erase any Fox-related characters, basically.
Well, you got to remember that Marvel has a deal with a toy company, and they don't want to sell X-Men that will give publicity to Fox. Because remember, Marvel wants those rights back.
Yeah.
Fans of the film are going to go see the movie regardless.
That's how come in the Marvel comics, they will not create no more New Mutants at all. They are not creating. They will not. Because that means Fox could use that new character in their movies.
An action figure sitting on a shelf is not going to make someone want to go watch an X-Men movie. You're going to go want to see that regardless of an action figure or not. It's kind of hurting the collectors more. And a few YouTubers are coming up with that. And it's just got to be a message that Marvel have to understand. But, it is what it is. But
you got to remember, it's their legal team, and that's their thinking.
Yeah. It's really weird. But, God, what was I going to say? Yeah, I just felt the death more. Going into it, I had a little bit of list of characters that I thought, okay, these could be potential characters to bite the dust. Quicksilver was on that list, not that I wanted him to be, but I was thinking, yeah, they might do it. And my
I
dick
actually
of a
thought
friend
Hawkeye
could
was going
ruin
to
it
get
for me.
killed.
Who?
Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was going to get killed.
Yeah.
When I saw his family,
that rumor was circulating real fast too.
Yeah, and it didn't help
when I
because
saw his family,
my friend heard a rumor, because we didn't go see it on the first day of release, of course. Me being in Australia, we got the movie first. We didn't go see it on the day of release, but yeah, AJ knows what I'm talking about. But so we went to see it like a few days later, and my friend had been hearing that, you know, oh, Hawkeye's the best part of it. So of course the nerves were up. Oh god, Hawkeye's going to bite the dust. But at the top of my list was Nick Fury, mainly because I think his story is pretty much done. I don't think they can take the character many more places.
actually, it has been confirmed that he won't be in a Civil War, which sounds strange.
Well,
And
what happens is you've got the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series that's running parallel to the movies. And they pretty much settled on the fact that Coulson's now the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Yeah.
He walked away from it. If you're not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., get past the first 6 episodes, you'll be hooked into it. Because I had the same problem. When I tried watching it, the first 6 episodes were really dry. And then after it got later into the season, it became a totally different series by the end of Series 1. It was actually worth watching. Series 2 was fantastic. It hit the ground running. But what's more important is it ties into these movies.
It does, because one of the episodes is set after the events of Dark World.
Yeah.
And then another one after Winter Soldier.
Also, Coulson's death by the end of Season 1 Coulson's resurrection, is very, very well explained. They didn't just make it a brush off. How it happened was very, very interesting. And they go more into it in the second season and all that as they go along. It's really well explained, very well done. I was actually shocked because I'm not normally into character resurrections. I cannot stand them. But this one, very well done, ties into the storyline perfectly.
Yeah, and it brings up to further movies like the Inhumans that won't come up for a bunch of years. But
okay, spoiler alert, it leads into the Kree.
Yeah.
And even the way they killed Quicksilver was kind of stupid.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be out.
In the time it took for him to rush in front of them, couldn't he have just gotten them the hell out of there? Like, he was zipping in front of that train, and
yeah, but to be honest, I don't think he has super strength to actually lift people up.
Yeah, yes, that's the other thing.
And picking people up from the path of the train.
His death was very cliche, very common. That's the type of death a hero usually gets. To be honest, though, I'm biased because the guy playing Quicksilver ruined the Godzilla movie. So I'm like,
It was him who ruined Godzilla.
It was a bad strip, Godzilla, but
It wasn't. I enjoyed it.
But it's funny because his kick-ass.
Yeah, AJ, you've been really quiet to this. Were there any issues between these two movies you wanted to bring up?
Well, Quicksilver, he was quite lame. I thought Hawkeye was going to die because he was quite thoughtful throughout the movie. He was very prolific. If you listen to Hawkeye, he was talking a lot about, the life they lead and how he wants to eventually survive this and go off with his family. The whole relationship with the Hulk and Black Widow, I could see how that could work because they both have a bit of a monster inside of them, whereas the others are sort of just people who have their own mental problems and whatnot, but they actually have a monster inside of them. That's why they sort of came together. That's what I saw.
Okay.
And I hate how the executives made Joss Whedon decide between, okay, so you can have Hawkeye's backstory in the farm scenes and all that, or you can have more sort of information about how Thor knows about the Infinity Gems. Because really, the way the movie portrays it is he takes a dip in a pool. Now he's like the all-knowing god of infinity.
That's another thing I was kind of like. He ended up going to see his friend, and then they somehow stumbled across the pool without a location of the pool. They somehow knew it where it was.
It was just all like really rushed.
Yep,
That's what I meant.
It wasn't needed.
that was all clobbered together. There was clearly, it felt to the viewer, whoever watches it, no one will deny this. It felt like, are there scenes missing here? Have I missed a scene? Have I, has a scene been completely cut out? Which they have. Or have they just forgot to shoot them? Because the Force stuff was very shallow.
I thought there was a scene between him meeting his friend at the school and then him going to the pool. Yeah. I thought there was a scene in between there.
And the rumors were running rapid all over the place that Spider-Man was going to be at the end of it. I brushed them all aside because, as cool as that would be, I knew it was never going to happen. But upon seeing the movie and seeing the end of it, I actually was really disappointed it wasn't in there, because that would have been so cool to see. But just all the heroes coming down, and then Spider-Man just swings in.
No, swinging by the building.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But
casting by that point, he could have had dialogue, but I don't think dialogue was really needed.
No.
But, if they had cast him and had dialogue, he could have said, sorry I'm late, guys.
Yeah, but for one, who has been cast as Spider-Man? Has it been confirmed yet?
They were trying to get that kid from Ender's Game.
I think they're still thinking on it, to be honest. That would have been funny, though. I like that. I'm sorry I'm late. The actor's just been sacked as Spider-Man, so we had to pull a new guy in,
Yeah, you don't want to see the babyface finsters they have lined up to play Spider-Man, allegedly, so...
I would have I know this was a bit of a thing, but they could have easily got, they should have been able to get Andrew Garfield, or at least Sony to be able to give them at least...
Even if you reboot it just with Andrew Garfield. Because I don't care what anyone said.
I don't think they should have rebooted it. I think they should have continued.
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah, we can't get into that. That's
another debate.
Far off.
We can't get it. That's too far.
I want to say, did you guys read about the alternative ending?
Not really.
There said, the alternative ending on the Blu-ray is that Quicksilver lives from the 46 bullet wounds.
Oh, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, or something like that. And
okay,
fire truck.
There's a fact with the Hulk.
I said freaking
everywhere.
You know the Hulkbuster scene, between Iron Man. Hulk supposed to be grey in that scene, but he was so enraging, that they left him green.
That would have been cool. Grey Hulk.
Okay, you've been quite a quiet. Or did you have any issues between the two movies you wanted to bring up?
No, not really.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't leave you too far. What about you, Kevin? You've been kind of quiet through this whole thing.
Yeah. Nah, not really. I got only the problem with the deleted scenes.
Yeah, because we've been running on for quite a bit here, so I just don't want to get too long. Okay. Alrighty. Now, anything else obvious anyone wants to bring up before we bring last round? Is there anything else that bugged you about either movie?
The stupid A's on the costumes for Hulk and Cap. I don't know why that bothers me. The Avengers symbol, I don't know. It's like,
the only
really?
problem I have with the movies is that, this is kind of off topic, but Captain America's flag on his belly is actually the Puerto Rican flag.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's for me.
It's the Puerto Rican flag. It's technically Captain Puerto Rico.
Well,
nothing wrong with that with me.
we won't get into the.
He's representing.
We won't get into the bullshit of why Puerto Rico have to pay taxes but get no representation.
There's not a state of the United States. It's an independent country.
They're a commonwealth, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, you have to vote themselves to be a state, which is never going to happen, because if they do
their property tax will go up.
Exactly. See, so it's a smart move. They're a commonwealth. But what does that do, Captain America? Not a damn thing, but oh well.
I'm kind of upset that Helen Cho didn't die. Like, I pretty much, when I saw her, I'm like, is she gonna die? She's probably gonna die. And then I kind of thought it was a bit weak that she didn't. Like, I'm not saying that should have been like the main death, and that's what, you know, the Coulson of this movie. But, you know, just throw a casualty in there. And the way that Thor threw that car on the bridge, like, that's got to have some damage to the people inside, right? You don't just drop the car down like that. You're a hero, for God's sake. Don't just drop a car like that.
Okay, now this is my last question. Oh, you got something, Kevin?
Yeah, I want I want to give some props, you know, to the soundtrack of the Avengers. It was, you know, always memorable. You know, all that little theme. Yeah, and it has everything combined, you know, from the Phase 2 movies themes into an Avengers theme. But there, I want to say something about the character development. Hawkeye was really well done in this movie. He has finally had a background. He got kids, a wife, you know, a farm.
He's married to Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So that was great to see.
Guys, I think the biggest character development came from Thanos. He can finally walk. Confirmation. I was starting to think, is this Patrick Stewart? Like, come on.
Okay, my final question is, and this kind of involves another movie franchise, is it just me? Or does it just seem to me like this whole Batman versus Superman thing is an attempt to catch up to the Avengers?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
They're fudged up.
After you just saw two Avengers movie make over $1 billion with a B, Warner Brothers, like, you know, they've been smacking themselves in the face saying, why we haven't released our movie close at all?
How long have they been wanting and planning a Justice League movie? And then Marvel pulls it off. They were probably frightened. They're like, oh, we will build up all of this and it might not be a success. Marvel's done it. Now they've realized we better get our crap together and move on to this. But DC, the one thing you have to realize is that not every character deserves a movie. Cyborg is going to fail. Cyborg, no.
You know what? If the Batman v Superman is gonna make money because they fight each other in the movie. Whether they're gonna hit $1 billion, I don't know. But the problem is that Warner Brothers made the mistake they did is they pissed off the fans who watched their product on TV by saying that Arrow, Flash is not with the movie universe, unlike Marvel, who done it with Shield and the Netflix series Daredevil, and the other series that's coming out is all one universe. And by Warner Brothers doing that, they upset a lot of fans.
All they said was,
these fans are gonna be like, I'm not gonna put my money on that movie.
He's saying this guy better be good if he's going to beat Grant Motherfudging Gustin.
don't you find it ironic they
What
got...
have we said about F-bombs?
This is how smart Warner Bros. is.
Fudging is...
A fudge budget.
Yeah, but they have to change the freaking movie title of Batman v Superman. Just change it to Dawn of Justice.
Maybe they should make it Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Cameos.
Let's just look at something really ironic here. A movie earlier this decade, no, not decade, century now, Daredevil. The movie is terrible. Who played Daredevil? Let me think.
Affleck.
Who did they recruit to do Batman? Really? Really?
You already killed one super character. Let's not have him bring another one down.
Let's bring that guy in, and then we're going to say to the Arrow and Flash fans, no, we don't want your money. No, we don't want it. We're going to use different actors who you don't even know because we're Warner Brothers. We can make money.
Then
You're
again,
idiots.
No, but
do you reckon Ben Affleck would have accepted it unless he knew he could do a good job, or at least try? Because let's face it, Daredevil fan. If he was tied in front of a Daredevil, like a diehard Daredevil fan, he wouldn't last 10 seconds. Like he'd just be like, "Please don't hurt me."
Especially his girlfriend as Elektra. Oh my god!
Oh, God.
You could have put a mannequin in there and got a better acting performance. Oh man. Well, okay. Well, if that. All right. We've been gabbing on here for a good while, so let's go ahead. We're going to bring this sucker to a close because now we're going to do the nasty thing, the very nasty thing. I'm going to go around, and for each movie, I want you to rate it out of 10.
Bollocks.
All right, let's start with Nightwing. Avengers and Avengers 2. Rate each out of 10.
Okay, the original Avengers. I know this is a bit like weird and cliche, but I'm going to vote it out 10 out of 10 because it was something completely like brand new, and then also it was just amazing. Avengers 2, sadly, will only be getting a 7. I enjoyed some of it, but the problems with it just, bash it down, and it's not as good as the original one, sadly.
Okay, James.
First one, 10. It's flawless. It's really hard to fault that movie. Second one would be a 7. However, because I love James Spader and I believed his character fully, even though a lot of comic fans here hate the portrayal, I would bump it up to a 9.
Okay, BJ.
Okay. Now, before I give my rating to both of the movies, I just want to add that within both of the films, I think they should have had Captain America at least say once, "Avengers Assemble," instead of cutting it out.
Okay.
And with the rating of the films, first one, 10 out of 10. Second one, I would give an 8.5.
Alrighty. Kevin.
I love them both really. There was only one thing wrong with the Avengers and 2, in my opinion. But yeah, first Avengers 10 out of 10. Second one, also yeah. All right, I'm gonna say this. I want to give it a 10 out of 10 both because I love those movies. I didn't got a problem with it,
Okay. Ryan.
First one, 10 out of 10 for the same reasons that Nightwing gave it a 10 out of 10. First thing of its kind, really. No knowledge of whether it was going to pay off or not, and it did in massive ways. This movie, not so much. Hopefully Ant-Man will be a bit of a step up. So yeah, first one's 10 out of 10. Sadly, I'm going to have to give Age of Ultron a 6. And that's thanks largely in part to Stan Lee's awesome cameo. That was superb.
Okay, AJ.
Yeah, Avengers 1, 10 out of 10, and number 2, 5 out of 10.
Whoa, okay. William.
I didn't like Ultron.
All right, the first Avengers, I give it a 10 out of 10. The Avengers Age of Ultron, because they screwed up I can't say screwed up, but they didn't do it right. The origin of Ultron and the Vision, I give it an 8 out of 10.
And the scary part is mine pretty much mirrors yours. I'm going to give the first one a 10 out of 10. The second one I'm going to give a solid 8. Because I did enjoy both movies, and it just seemed like there was just something missing from the second one. It's just me, maybe, but I think there was just a few things they went a little overboard on, and there was just a few other things they could have done a lot better job on. No problems with Ultron. I did enjoy James Spader's performance. He did get a bit cheesy, but still a good movie all around. It was still a good watch. Okay, now here's the good part. Next week we're doing Game of Thrones. So for you folks who watch it, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about Season 5, the finale, how it was, and all that, blah, blah, blah. Now, the following weekend, I decided, what the hell, let's just keep going. 2 weeks from today, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Yes!
I am Groot.
I want to be in that one.
All
In
right.
case you can't tell, I love that movie.
Next week, all you Game of Thrones watchers come in. We'll sit down. We'll discuss Series 5 finale. You know, maybe even just bop around about where the characters are in Series 5 and blah, 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 where you think they're going 6. You know, just toss it around. Then we're going to do the following week, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, but until that time, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Let's get goodbyes from everybody. Let's start with AJ,
See you guys.
BJ,
See everybody.
James,
Bye, guys.
Kevin,
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Nightwing.
Thank you, everybody, for having me again, and I promise next time it won't be as long a break.
Okay, Ryan.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking about Avengers and completely tearing apart Age of Ultron. Looking forward to the next one. Until then, Avengers.
God damn
Assemble.
you, Disney.
And William.
Thank you for having me here, and can't wait to be here next week.
Okay, so until then, guys, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Avengers.
Assemble.
You've got to